But it's not a loss if you pause your fun and your vacations temporarily in order to hit your financial goals.
If I save $100, I view that as purchasing $100 of independence. I'm spending that money. It's giving me independence today.
I'm only saying this right now because somebody really needs to hear this right now. You need to take your life extremely serious.
So today we're going to change gears a little bit compared to what we normally watch and take a look at some of the best financial decisions people have made. I know these videos don't do well compared to a lot of the other topics we go over on this channel, but it doesn't hurt to see some of the good choices people are making in 2026. We have a lot to go over today along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below, but let's jump right into it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's not a loss if you pause your fun and your vacations temporarily in order to hit your financial goals. If you need to cancel that trip to pay off that debt, sis, what are you doing? And I say all that because I personally am in a place where I am postponing a trip in order to pay off debt. And I know how hard it is to make these decisions and to do this. But this is for the better of me and my child. So adulting is realizing the hard decisions are sometimes the right decisions.
And unfortunately, many people don't make that decision in today's world. They'd rather go into heavy credit card debt to go on vacation yet again, whether it's to escape the financial stress that they're currently in, even though as soon as you get back home, your situation's now worse, or you just see everyone around you going on vacations as well, so you want to fit in. And I think that's a pretty good transition into the next clip.
What worries me for your generation specifically, I have two daughters your age, is this image that's out there and everybody's competing against a non-existent thing. What I mean by that is you guys are seeing guys, especially in Miami, in Lamborghinis at 20 years old and living in penthouses. Everybody has a penthouse in Miami. There's not that many, but everybody seems to live in one. And there's an illusion that it's so easy and everybody has it and they give them some stress. And you know, I'm gonna tell you, I have a guy in my office who I let borrow one of my cars because he won a bet with me as a joke. And he literally took pictures of the car and he posted a picture of himself on Instagram. And the other day he was down and I'm like, what's wrong? It's like, everybody's doing better than me. I see it all over Instagram. And I said, you're that guy. You didn't put in your post, that's my car. You're doing the same thing. It's just an illusion. Nobody gets there quick. Yes, there's gonna be some rich kids, but whether you're gonna be the best lawyer, the best architect, the best real estate guy, whatever it is, it's gonna take a lot of time. So don't count other people's money. Don't compare against them because remember, comparison is the thief of joy. As long as you're making forward progress and having fun, it's gonna be great.
But trying not to compare yourself to other people in the age of social media is very difficult for some. Whether it's the car you drive, the job you have, the vacations, where you live in the country or the world, all of those things can be an incredible financial burden. And going over to the comments, people who are truly rich don't really have the time to sit down and flex how rich they are unless it's their job, which I've talked about a million times on this channel. Most of the time when you see it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, it's some sort of grifter selling you a course that's hundreds or thousands of dollars each, promising that they're going to teach you to be exactly like them. Surprise, surprise, that never happens, but you still gave them money to fund their rich lifestyle. I asked you guys in an older video what's the best financial decisions you've made, not going into prediction markets like Kalshi, Polymarket, etc. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this video, but if you think the gambling's bad today when we're talking about casinos and things like that, it's now gotten exponentially worse. Keeping my paid off Mazda instead of buying a used truck. Trucks are useful, but I could rent one 2 to 3 times a year that I need one. Especially if you're talking about a newer truck, it could easily get into the 60s, 80s, even $100,000. I finished paying off my private student loans this year by throwing all of my extra income at it. $1,300 a month payment is now gone and feels so freeing. Another comment talking about a vehicle keeping my paid off 2014 RAV instead of getting a new truck. And yet another comment talking about gambling. I quit gambling in October of 2025. Only wish I'd done it sooner. Another person says no subscriptions, it adds up more than you think. Closing all of my online big box store accounts. Now if I need something, I have to go to a physical store and buy it. It saved me so much not buying things on a whim. And that's a huge problem when it comes to overconsumption and shopping addictions now. You don't even have to go and walk around a mall anymore. You could just sit on your phone or computer at your house, and within just a couple days, you could have anything shipped to your door.
I want to take a second to talk about the 3 best financial decisions that I made last year that set me up for success this year. Number 1, I had a paid off car and a brand new car, so I got rid of the brand new car because what was I thinking? The next best decision that I made was canceling about $150 worth of subscriptions each month. The last thing that I did was go ahead and open up a new credit card with a 0% interest rate, and I did a balance transfer. But opening up the 0% card and moving all my balance to that, I paid no interest and I got to pay it off as I saw fit. And the time limit for this was like 18 months, so I'm still doing it now and it's great.
Now, I will say with the balance transfers, it can be very tricky because we've seen many examples on this channel of people using that as a get out of jail free card. I'll have 0% interest on this card for 12 or 18 months. I'll just pay it off. We'll be completely fine. And those same credit card companies are banking on that not happening because as soon as that time limit runs out, the APR jumps to 20 or 30% and then puts you in an even worse situation. So you definitely have to be on top of your finances when it comes to that.
Here's 5 things that I refuse to spend money on. The first thing is paying for fast shipping. What were we all doing before overnight shipping was a thing? If we didn't need it then, we don't need it now. Obviously, emergencies happen and it could be pretty helpful then, but come on now, we don't need it on a day-to-day basis. Number 2 is drinks at a bar. I mean, first off, I'd rather drink at a friend's place than go to a bar, but if I was going to the bar, I'm gonna have some drinks in me already from the pregame and then maybe have 1 or 2 drinks max. Number 3 is designer furniture. I paid $400 for my knockoff couch instead of paying $2,000 for the real one. I'm gonna spill food on the couch, so why would I pay for a designer one? Number 4 is a brand new car. New cars depreciate the moment they leave the lot, and I saved $8,000 buying my car used with only 10,000 miles on it. And lastly, are pets. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy pets, I'm saying I shouldn't buy pets. With how much I'm out of the house, traveling and moving around, I'm definitely not fit for a pet right now, even though I want one in the future. If I had a pet right now, my daycare costs would be out the roof.
Okay, so a few things about this one, talking about not getting as many drinks at the bar. I know we've seen a pretty heavy decline around the world when it comes to bars because people don't have the money to spend $10, $15 on a beer now. So either they're pre-gaming before they go to the bar or completely skipping it entirely. And this goes with another comment from you guys here. No alcohol for the last year has been amazing. I've saved so much money and saved myself from hours and hours of hangover regret. Another thing, talking about the type of car he got, it was a previous gen Tacoma, and when it comes to value and depreciation, the previous gen Tacoma and 4Runners hold their value probably the best out of almost any car on the road. Now, of course, people will probably talk about super rare cars that are still appreciating in value, but still, they're one of the best when it comes to normal everyday commuter cars. And the last one, talking about pets, I know this riles up a whole ton of people, but we'll expand on it a little bit more with this next clip.
One of the best decisions I've made in my early 20s is not getting a dog. I was severely underestimating the amount of work, commitment, and time required to be a good dog owner. The amount of things that I've seen people that have dogs have to pass up on is incredible. Whether it's trips, after work events, dinners, having to go back and take care of a living being animal and to do it right is not easy. And especially because it's so costly. Like, dogs have an entirely random set of expenses that can pop up at any time. And if you are not financially flexible enough and time-wise flexible enough, you cannot underestimate how much work is required to own a dog.
And again, when you tell this to some people, they get all bent out of shape because people take this extremely seriously. They consider pets like their children, but in the same argument, if you don't have the financials for good food, which is expensive now, and regular doctor's visits, it's the same as child neglect. I mean, you could get into the arguments of people who have very small apartments and they end up getting very big dogs that like to be very active and run around as well. They're just cooped up in one single room. But we got another comment here that goes well with the next clip. Nothing matters if you pick the wrong partner. You can save, plan, and manage it, and it will all go out the window with the wrong partner. Please pick wisely.
In the debt community, people talk a lot about credit score, snowball versus avalanche, budgets, but no one really talks about how who you marry is one of the biggest financial decisions you're ever going to make in your entire life. That's going to determine how you spend money, how you save money, how do you handle stress, like what do you guys do in the chaos of life, like together? But also, if you end up marrying the wrong person, divorce is so freaking costly. My friends spend thousands of dollars on legal fees, lawyer fees. Like, it was insane. Like, I 0 out of 10 recommend. And I'm not married myself, and I don't think I ever will be, just because I'm so afraid of the financial risk it's gonna take on me.
And I know that this is a big argument among many people as well today. In general, people aren't getting married as often or having children, but regardless if you're talking about a husband or wife or just a boyfriend and girlfriend, if you're not on the same page financially, it could be devastating for your finances. We got another comment here. We've set the bar so low now that giving common sense advice is now considered guru level knowledge. Because throughout most of these clips on my entire channel, I'm not showing you super secret hacks that can make you hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour. Some crazy techniques, this or that. It's pretty common sense base level knowledge. But unfortunately, common sense isn't that common in today's world.
Saving, and my motivation for saving was I just want to be independent. I just want to wake up and do whatever I want. And I feel like my savings has bought that. It's not, when I save money, it's not because I say, oh, I'm saving up to buy a new car, even though there can be that and that could be great. If I save $100, I view that as purchasing $100 of independence. I'm spending that money. It's giving me independence today.
I don't want to be rich so that I can buy a lot of nice cars or that I can buy a bunch of houses or go on crazy vacations. Those things are good. I want to have those things. But above all else, I want to have money so that at one point in my life, I can experience freedom. I don't want to die before having achieved financial freedom so that I can actually experience life for what it actually is without having to worry about bills, without having to worry about clocking into work. Because you might have a nice job, you might get paid, a pretty good salary, but in my opinion, as long as you're in a position where you have to punch a clock or go somewhere that you don't want to really go because you have financial obligations, you're not truly free.
Now, I know many people have different motivations and goals in their life, but this is very similar to how I think. I'd like to be financially free and retire as early as possible. And when I use the word retire, it's not like one day I have enough money, so I'm just going to sit on the couch and watch TV until I die. I'd still be working on something for the rest of my life to keep me busy, but I wouldn't have to deal with financial stress at all. And I find that more valuable than having designer clothes or a brand new Lamborghini. You know what I'm talking about, all of those influencer type of people we see on social media. And this goes with another comment from you guys. My dad used to say, the more you own, the more you're owned. And I've lived with this clarity. Because say if you do start racking up money and buying a whole ton of stuff, that comes with a whole bunch more problems. Let's say you buy a big mansion with a lot of land. You're probably not going to have time to maintain the entire property. You're going to have to hire people to maintain the outside along with cleaning the inside. That could be very costly if you start buying a whole bunch of cars. Those need maintenance as well. Things become way more expensive than just the original price tag.
Right.
Where you spend your money says what's important to you.
That's right.
Thank God it's Friday. I'm going to hit the bars. We know what's important to you. You know, I'm going to save for the future. We know what's important to you. I'm going to save for my kids. We know what's important to you. I'm going to save so much, I'm going to change my family tree, my kids and my grandkids. Now we know what's important to you. No one wins with money until they decide they don't care what other people think. That's it.
But again, many people do care what others think pretty heavily in today's society. And I've heard the generational wealth comments a ton of times before. And while of course I think everybody would love to have enough money to be able to take care of their friends and family, most of the time when you're talking about great grandkids and younger, the amount of time and work you put in to gain that wealth is really lost. And that generational wealth is squandered a lot of the time. So if your goal in life is to make your family the next powerhouse, wealthy family, I'm not telling you not to do it. I've just seen many stories of hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars vanishing.
3 things I regret not spending money on as someone that's financially responsible. There is a fine line between being cheap and frugal, and unfortunately I think I crossed that line with these scenarios, and the last one I regret the most. First and foremost is my cheap apartment. Turns out there was a reason why it was cheap. Within 3 months of being there, I got robbed. It was a bit run down, which put me in a melancholy mood, and my regret is that my dream apartment was only $200 more a month, so looking back, I should have just gotten that. It used to be the most that I would spend on shoes was $60. That meant I was rocking my black Vans everywhere, even to athletic events. That was until, by wearing those shoes, I pulled my hamstring playing wiffle ball. And I'll tell you what, I would pay way more than $60 to avoid pulling my hamstring, so now I'm more than happy to buy the proper footwear to be comfortable and pain-free. And the one that I regret the most is bedding. Throughout high school, college, and even early on in my professional career, I was using the same bedding until I upgraded my mattress and decided to buy new sheets, comforter, and pillow. Instead of buying just the basics, I spent a little more. Turns out that actually made more of a difference than the mattress itself. I slept a lot better, which increased my energy levels as well as my overall productivity. To me, nicer bedding is one of the highest ROI purchases that someone can make.
And I could definitely get on board when they're talking about shoes. I got bad knees and a bad back, so long-term standing does honestly hurt. So those big cushy running shoes really do make a difference, especially if you're talking about shoes like Vans. And we've heard many people talk about it being worth spending more money when it comes to mattresses and bedding, because no matter what way you look at it, you're spending a third of your life on it.
What has the best money spent to life improvement ratio? Something you didn't spend a lot of money on, but it has improved your life greatly.
A home gym, all my machines are always open and can lift whenever from home. Another person saying a good mattress, spend almost half my life laying on it. Extra chargers that live in my work or travel bag, not having to double check those or unplug my main ones every time I travel. A library card, it's free and I could use the audiobook app to listen to good books at work. Another person just says sobriety. The wristbands that keep water from running down your arms when you wash your face. That's pretty niche, but I would guess that it's pretty useful. I feel like everybody has those problems once in a while. A bidet, for sure, use it every day and genuinely one of the greatest life improvements. I personally just have to take their word for that one. Buying used cars in cash doesn't matter if it's $3,000 or $8,000. It's always less than a $500 monthly car payment. And now most of the time that $500 car payment is around $750. We got another comment here. I've stopped buying fast food for almost a year now. I bought a Ninja coffee machine, stopped casually drinking, and saved so much money. So I know people would probably think that I'm the type to tell you that you shouldn't spend any money on anything, save every single penny until you're 70 years old and can retire, which is not the case. If you could buy something that will genuinely improve your life, that doesn't put you in a tough financial situation or in debt, then I think that's completely fine.
Yo, man, how many cars you got? I said, I got like 6. He says, well, how many can you drive at the same time? I'm like, what do you mean? He says, why you have 6 cars? And I couldn't give him a good answer. He said, Charles, everybody know who the you are. He said, you ain't got to impress these people. Everybody know you Charles Barkley. He said, son, take those cars back. You need 1 car. If you want 2, that's fine. But them other ones, take them back. He said, son, this money got to last you for the rest of your life. He says, I know you think you're going to play basketball a long time. He said, basketball is going to be this shorter window of your life. He says, this money got to last you the rest of your life. That was a great lesson. I tell these young guys, yo, man, you don't need but 1 house and 1 car. Now, if you want to splurge and get 2 cars, that's fine. But you don't need more than 1 house and 1 car. This money, it's got to last you the rest of your life. You don't know how long you're going to live. And like I say, TV saved me because I would have been broke, probably.
And that's what I was going to say, because I know Charles Barkley's story is a little bit different than a lot of other professional athletes, because now he's a big sports personality. But in other cases, even if you have a full-length pro career, one day the money's going to stop coming in. And if you've been spending crazy amounts, even if you're making millions of dollars, you could end up with absolutely no money to your name. And going over to the comments, we talked about this before. I've just seen that Odell Beckham Jr. just filed for bankruptcy at 33, despite earning over $100 million.
All the stuff that you've done off the field, it's rumored that you never spent a dollar of your NFL earnings. Is that true?
Technically, Drew Rosenhaus actually gave me a $50,000 upfront marketing budget at the beginning, and you got to pay him back over the time, the first 50 grand you made. So I actually took that 50 grand. I bought me a car. I paid for my spot up in New England actually with it. I'm very frugal, and lived with a roommate my first couple of years. I didn't know how long the NFL was going to last. I was a 2nd round pick, so it was like a 4-year, $4 million deal. And I was like, if I play this contract out, I'll be set for life. I got $2 million in my bank. I can make $200,000 of interest. I was like, if I only play 3-4 years, I'm good. Like, if I don't ball, if I'm not the player, that I think I could be, whatever, I'm still set for life, because $2 million in the bank is set for life to me, at that time. I just always wanted to save it, and I just used my money that I was getting off the field to just spend it on whatever I needed to spend it on. To this day, technically, I have not spent any of my NFL money.
He's actually pretty smart. The whole Gronk thing is a persona. And another person talking about Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't think $150 million is generational wealth. Because the comment everybody's talking about was on a podcast saying that $100 million was not a lot. Because going through taxes and everything, it basically gets cut in half. However, I don't think I have to tell you that $50 million is quite a bit of money. And if you do exactly what we just heard about in the last clip, you could stick that in a high yield savings account, CDs, investments, and be able to live a really nice life off of the interest forever. But unfortunately, there are many stories of pro athletes losing it all.
As soon as grade 11, 12 hits, you kind of realize hey, I'm there's one kid you saw that he's getting all these offers, all that, and you're kind of just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna make it, bro. Yeah. Let's just be honest. And also I've wasted all this time playing ball and not making any money. That's why I stopped. As soon as I started realizing, bro, I'm sitting here dribbling this basketball, I'm not making it, and I'm broke. Time for a change, bro.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I like your mindset,
Time
man.
for a change, man.
I know this is a big one that people get up in arms about as well, because sports are a huge part of a lot of people's lives. I like sports as well, but in a previous video, we went over how expensive specifically youth sports have become, and the incredibly small chance to become a professional athlete. If you're spending all of your time and money on a sport, and maybe you just don't have the genes, or you end up getting hurt, everything gets flushed down the drain and you have no backup plan. I realized this in the 9th grade. Sophomore year is the decision year for real. I realized at the end of my sophomore year, literally cried for an hour. My heart was hurting. It is very tough making that decision to hang it up.
Day 2 of reminding people that couch tea is not normal. People are gambling on war, and we are treating it like it's an asset. That's insane.
Their ad budget is ridiculous. I see it everywhere. Plus, they primarily use AI ads as well. And now you could bet on legitimately anything. It's not just sports. It has gotten so ridiculously out of control so quickly that I don't even know what it's going to look like in the future. Because the amount of younger, primarily guys, becoming gambling addicts are just absolutely soaring.
I'm only saying this right now because somebody really needs to hear this right now. You need to take your life extremely serious. You need to take your life extremely serious. You're lollygagging. You're playing around. You're wasting time. It's time for you to cut all that BS out and start taking things very serious. Wake up today on a mission. It's time to get everything you want out of this life before you leave. Go get it. Stop wasting time.
It's literally already April. At the time of recording this, it's already May. We're almost halfway through the year already. Time is flying. But how many times have you heard someone say that I'm going to get in shape? I'm going to start going to the gym maybe next week, next month, at the beginning of the year, and then it never seems to actually happen. If you have that kind of mentality throughout your life, you're most likely not going to get the things you want out of it.
As someone who works in the bank, these are 3 things that I see every single day that keeps people broke. Number 1, is tracking their finances. There'll be a ton of people who come in, even on a daily, who have no idea what's even in their accounts. Number 2 is buying unnecessary things, such as maybe like the daily takeout or maybe the daily coffee run in the morning, when you possibly could do maybe something to adjust it, maybe something a little bit cheaper, or maybe just eat at home. Number 3 is living outside of your means. To me, net profit is really the only thing that counts, which is how much you make after all of your expenses are taken out.
I still don't get not knowing what your finances are in 2026. We're all on our smartphones all day long. Each one of these banks have their own apps. You don't even have to put your password in anymore. It has facial recognition. It takes legitimately 5 seconds to look. There's really just no excuse now.
If I was 28 again, I would choose simple over impressive. See, impressive will get you attention. Simple will get you results. So I complicated my life in my 20s by trying to look like I was successful instead of trying to learn how to become successful. See, the basics done consistently daily will outperform almost everything.
But then as soon as you go over to the comment section, you see somebody immediately trying to write this off as you're sitting in your $100,000 pickup truck. But there's a response. He's probably in his 60s and 70s, little bro. His advice is for young people. Exactly. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to have nice cars, nice trucks, a big house. If you could truly afford that with the finances you have, then go right ahead. But especially if you're talking about kids in their 20s, most people don't. They'll just finance everything and go into debt just to be able to flex to people in real life or online. And that really sets your whole life up for disaster. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.